Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a video giving my thoughts on a recent interview with Lauren Cohen, who, of course, is seen here on the cover of Shape magazine. I've got some good questions we're going to go through. We're going to give my thoughts on what she says, and then we're going to do a regular daily Walking Dead Season 6 second half Q and A. So for this one, let's do a quick review of the cover. I will quote Bruce Campbell from Ash vs. Evil Dead for this one, from the premiere. Looking good, looking sweet. Right, so I'll put the link in the description so you guys can go ahead and check out the article from Shape. It's also featured on EAT. It's got some different, each different site has some different questions about it. So you guys can check out the pictures there. And basically, it mostly talks about routine and about, what she does trying to stay, moving all the time, that kind of thing, working out. Talks about waking up at 4:30 a.m. and having the first hour, that kind of thing. A lot of success books, you'll read that as called the golden hour. At least Brian Tracy calls it the golden hour. It's your first hour when you wake up, and it defines the whole day. And she kind of talks a bit about that here too, which is very common habit or strategy, which is a lot of people that very successful. The first hour of the day they work out, or they do their exercise, or they do reading, or something that's really going to get the day started off right. But she does say that working out is harder on set. We film in Georgia, and I can't go to classes, so different exercise, aerobic classes, stuff like that. And talks about just starting really, really early. So the movie's coming out pretty soon. The Boy, it's January 22nd, and that features she's in the movie. I personally am not going to see the movie in theaters, I don't think, but I'll probably watch it later on when it comes out on DVD or Blu-ray or something. Check it out because, of course, she's in it. It's not the biggest. I'm not the biggest fan of that genre. The Omen kind of thing, evil kid kind of thing. I know in horror, it's pretty popular. There's so many movies like it. It's easy to do, right? The budget for it doesn't have to be that big, and they can put it together. So it's pretty cool. Check out the article. You guys read it and let me know what you think. I think that's mainly pretty much what it says there. She talks about being a skinny kid, which is funny, and that people used to make fun of her. So, so see, there you go. Everybody gets made fun of, regardless of how you end up as an adult. They probably wouldn't be making fun of her now. So there you go. And New Year's resolutions, I thought it'd be cool to include as a video and that kind of stuff. So it's fun. So I do personally. I like working out too. I actually did. This month, about a month ago, I finally got to 50 push-ups. I was never able to do 50 consecutive push-ups, so I finally did it. So yeah, bam, nice, right? Okay, so let's get into a few of your guys' questions, and we'll talk a little bit about it. Check out the article if you like, and learn some tips. This is cool to know because she's got better abs than I do, so it's not bad to read. Okay, so the first one is from Slayer Seb, and he says, this is a wild guess, but if Glenn does die, Maggie might eventually get with Rick. What? That is so weird, dude. That is just, no, so weird. Okay, next question is from Nuck97. He says, Trev, have you ever considered letting your girlfriend take over the channel? Your Christmas video is the highest view count you've gotten since Lauren's short haircut video a week before that. Then he sticks his tongue out at me. Well, thanks, man. Appreciate that. I'm glad you think that my girlfriend can do a better job of the Walking Dead channel than I can. Well, maybe she can, if she cares, if she liked the show. But you're all right about that. That is true. It is my highest rated video for the last little while. But she's got her own thing. If you don't know this, she's got her own channel. She's been on YouTube, almost as long as I have, and she's had over 25 million views and over 20,000 subscribers between her different channels. Because when we got started, it's hard to have one channel. You get your channel flagged, you get your channel shut down, suspended, stuff like that was a regular day occurrence. It happened all the time. But so she had to switch a few times. But yeah, she got over 25 million views to date currently, and I'm very proud, so proud of her. So she doesn't need my help, bro. She doesn't need the channel. But should something happen to me, the channel's going to go to her, of course. So. So let's hope not. Let's hope nothing happens to me. But eventually, when you get old, that kind of deal, it's going to be hers. So if you ever see her in another video again, leading the whole video, it'll probably be letting you guys know that on some unfortunate news, Trev's dead. They killed him off. Next one's from Nicola Bauckham, and he or she, that could be Nicola. Yeah, it's a guy, right? I think usually he says. Let's go with the he. It's probably he. Got a Q and A. Do you feel like they're going to go ahead and kill off Glenn at some point soon? Did think it would be Morgan, but now feel like they're going to flip it again to fool the audience. Isn't it important for Maggie's future that Glenn is killed off? They're building up for a leadership role already, like in the comics. What do you think? And I think you're saying that because of the haircut thing, and I do agree. I think the haircut, like the shorter haircut deal, it kind of looks more, it feels more like a leader. It feels more like, less of like, kind of being it's kind of like an age, I guess like an age thing, but I think when I think of like short hair like that, I do think more like leader of community, that kind of deal, than the longer hair that's more kind of, or with earrings and kind of like trying to look a certain way. It's just kind of like fitting the bill, fitting the profile, so to speak. But I think that's a great comment that you're thinking, if she's going to become a leader of the Hilltop, another community like she does in the comic book series, then do they have to kill Glenn off for her to become like that? Like, do they need to kill Glenn off in order for her to become like that, to become a really strong leader? That's interesting. Or could Glenn stay, but then why wouldn't he be the leader? No, maybe he doesn't like the politics or something. They could write it in. But that's a good question right there, is will Glenn survive long term if it's kind of necessary to Maggie's character that she be single to lead? And I don't think it necessarily is. I think it could be okay. But that's, that's an interesting question from you, Nicola. So that's a great one. And this one was from a couple people. We were talking about who would be good to play Alpha in the television series. And a few people brought up that Jada Pinkett Smith would be a great Alpha. And I wanted to respond to that to you guys. Absolutely, I agree 100%. She would be an amazing Alpha because of course, playing Fish Mooney in Gotham. She was incredible, really strong, scary female. She could walk right into that role and own that shit like it's nothing. So that would be really, really cool if they got somebody like that. I don't think they will, because that'll be in a few years. And Jada, I don't know 100%, because she was Gotham. Not to do any spoilers in that, but yeah, I can't really say anything further. I was going to go on a thought, but I don't want to spoil Gotham. I'm not sure if she'd be down for it. I don't know if she'd want to do it. I think they would love to have her. She'd probably be a great pick, but I don't know if she would actually want to, is what I'm saying. Next one's from Fruddle Max, and he says, "Hey Trev, what are your thoughts on the darkness?" Okay, that sounds weird out of context. I mean, in the trailer we see Rick chopping something with an axe, so a zombie head or something, we don't know. Pivotal scene from the comics he brings up, and Carl is looking forward, yet at the end of the episode it's obviously daytime. What's up with that? Are they not doing the famous scene? I'll be so mad. No, I think they are, but I think like Lauren talks about in the interview, is that they film a lot of times at 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m., so they got to wake up like right away. So that was probably filmed in the morning. I used to think they filmed at night, but I guess maybe they filmed in the morning. That makes more sense. So if they film in the morning, maybe it got pushed into the next day, and they weren't able to complete all the filming until the next, and that might be why they pushed it into the second half, into episode 9, because maybe they couldn't fit it in the mid-season finale, and that's just how production worked out. A TV series, they got to get their stuff done, and they got to move forward. They don't have a lot of time because they're doing so much, especially with The Walking Dead. You have 90-minute episodes, you have extended stuff. They got to get that stuff out and push it through. So that's probably what happened. But it makes it look a little silly. But because it's one episode, the break and then another episode, probably won't even notice it. Basically, nobody will notice unless you're watching back to back very carefully. You probably won't notice. But there's movies like X-Men 3 where Brett Ratner, I think, was the director, and Magneto drops the bridge, and it turns from daytime, from the dropping of the bridge, to night like that, like in one sequence, and it's noticeable. So it's clunky. So it happens sometimes. They just got to be careful. But, what are you going to do? Reshoot the whole damn thing just so it's daytime or just so it's still daytime? No, you're not going to do that. Too much work, too much cost. You got actors involved. You got all kinds of stuff going on. We'll do a couple more. Next one's from Lancelot. He says, trailer ending with Rick swinging the axe and No Way Out. Looks like we're getting an iconic scene from the comics. And yes, it does. I purposely didn't really mention that in my video because sometimes I'm always cautious about ruining things for people, and I don't really want to if you haven't read the comic book series, but it should be really epic is all I'll really say for this one. And the last one is from Napone Napoleon. I like it. Walking Dead actually does get more views per episode than Game of Thrones. We were talking about comparing Game of Thrones to Walking Dead. You can look on the wiki for each show, and don't you think I already know this? You should project that Trevor already knows this. And it shows how many views each episode has. Game of Thrones is about 6 to 8 million views, I know, per episode in 2015, while Walking Dead gets about 14 to 17 million per episode. Okay, so why did I bring it up? It's because HBO is a subscription network. It's not the same. You have to pay like $30 a month or $20 a month, maybe American, Canadians more, because Canadian dollar's so low right now, to get the station. And if you have to get the station, you got to pay money to get the station. You know, a lot of people aren't going to do it. So, and it's also way more pirated than The Walking Dead. So that's hard to say, man. I don't think you can say so easily that, Walking Dead is the most popular, is more popular than Game of Thrones. That's tough, man. That's tough to say, because again, like I said, it's subscription compared to non-subscription. So I know Game of Thrones, I think, and The Sopranos are probably the biggest shows HBO's ever had, with Game of Thrones at this point probably being the biggest ever. And you could look at some other metrics like comparing DVD sales, Blu-ray sales, stuff like that. And again, it's still hard. It's hard to say, man. Game of Thrones, there's some Game of Thrones heads out there, man, that Song of Ice and Fire, they know like every detail of the books, and they know like, there's all these theory, like on YouTube sometimes I'll see all these theory videos and I'm like, what? What are you talking about? So for me, the only reason why I do more Walking Dead than Game of Thrones is because I have more of a passion for Walking Dead. It's my favorite show, and Game of Thrones is narrowly number 2, even though sometimes it feels like Game of Thrones should be number 1. Depends, after episodes like Them and Now and Still, it's a tough call. It's a tough call. So anyway, that'll be it for today. Check out the pictures, check out the magazine cover and the interview. Pretty cool. And send me your guys' questions for another Q&A again soon. Hope you guys have a great start to the new year. If you like the video, you can thumb it up below. If you want to help support the channel, you can share, you can favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, you can subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you again real soon. As always, it's Trev. I'm saying peace.